Hello, and welcome to today's trending contract, Guardians of the Garden version 2, set in Whittleton Creek and supplied to us today by Shaco1610. So with no briefing, we'll move straight on to our targets, and today we have 5 of them along with a free map. So for today's challenge, we'll be starting at the default location. We're going to have an oil canister stored up in the park shed, and we'll be bringing with us a proximity micro taser, a lockpick, and a silenced pistol. So right from the start and off the bat, we are going to head straight to the park shed and retrieve our oil canister, as we will be requiring this for our first target today. So once we have the oil canister, we're going to exit through the front door of the shed and make our way directly to Helen West's house. And our first target is currently located in the garden. He's one of the FBI/gardener types, and he will be making his way very shortly into the bathroom. We're going to get there ahead of him, and we're just going to vault over the fence, up onto the patio, and in through the bathroom window. We're going to spill our oil just by the toilet here somewhere. Around here will do. And then we're going to drop our taser into the puddle. So I want to make sure that it doesn't trigger too early. We're then going to plant ourselves behind the door, and in a few moments our first target will arrive, and we're going to close the door so we can see what happens. And when he triggers the taser, that will ignite the oil, and he will be rather warm for a brief time. So target 1 now dealt with. We're just going to wait for him to drop so that we can move past him and back out through the window. We're now going to make our way into the house next door, which will be Janus's house. We're going to make our way back out onto the street first of all and go the easy way so we don't have to avoid any enforcers. And we're just going to hop back into Helen West's garden on the far side and over into Janus's house. As you can see, there is a guard here. There's also a camera, so if we can hopefully pounce on the guard quickly enough, we won't be spotted by the camera. We're going to render him unconscious and drag him into the bushes. He will drop a gun and a key. So we're just going to wait for our target over there to move away. We're going to take out the camera, and then we can go and retrieve the gun and the key. We're going to make our way down into the basement, where we will encounter another guard, and hopefully, yes, they have their back to us. So we're going to open the door with the key we've collected. We're going to render the guard unconscious, and we are going to deposit him in the closet provided down the other end of the room. We're also going to take his outfit just so that we can move around a little easier, as the flamingo outfit, although insulated, will be working us up a nice sweat. So we're just going to take his outfit. While we're here, we may as well take out the surveillance system as well. I don't want to use the SMG there. So we're going to make our way now up into the kitchen, being very much aware that Janus and Gunther will be around this area. They are just making their way to the living room. Our next victim is the guard currently on patrol and guarding the kitchen. So we're going to remove him from the equation as well by rendering him unconscious. Again, we're going to grab his gun and we're going to deposit him in the garage, where there is a chest freezer available to us. So our next target, as you saw, is on patrol in the garden. It's quite a visible area, so we can't really do much with him there. So what we're going to do is make our way into the garden, and we're going to drop one of the guns we've collected out on the walkway, and our target will eventually find it and bring it to the garage, and there we will have him all alone and at our mercy. So once he moves past, we're just going to make our way out, drop the gun somewhere nice and visible, and then make our way into the kitchen once again. We're going to hide behind the kitchen counter here. About here will do nicely. And our target, unfortunately, because we got within proximity of him, has now made his way to the far end of the garden and is engaging one of the other guards in a conversation. This does take a little while to play out, but eventually he will go back to his usual routine, and on that routine he will encounter the gun that we've dropped, and he will go and take it to the garage area. Again, we need to be aware of Janice and Gunther, who are currently on their way to the kitchen, but we are now in the garage and safe. We're just going to drop our target here with a single bullet. We're going to deposit him in the chest freezer as well, as someone else will be heading into this room a little bit later on. We're going to make our way back into the kitchen and straight out through the window and into the garden next door, and we're going to make our way down into the basement, and utilizing our lockpick we're going to let ourselves in. Now our next target is currently on guard on the rear patio, and he has a colleague with him currently on the sun lounger. So we're going to turn on the rather loud rock music, which will attract the attention of our non-target guard, and when he comes in to investigate, we are going to render him unconscious. There he goes. We want to try and get him before he stops the music. He must not stop the music. And we're going to deposit him in the crate provided if he allows it. Even though he's unconscious, he's still resisting. So while we're doing this, hopefully the music will now attract the attention of our target, and it has done. There he is. He will now make his way down here to turn it off. We're just going to clear up a little bit so that we don't distract him in any way. We're going to wait by the stairs, gun drawn, ready and aimed, waiting for our target, and when he comes through the door, we are going to drop him very quickly with no muss or theatrics. So here he comes now, and down he goes, and that is target number 3 dealt with. Let's turn off the music in case we manage to attract any more attention. We're going to make our way back up into the garden area now, and we're going to retrieve ourselves the first of 2 propane cylinders, and then we're going to make our way over the garden fence into the Wilson's property, and our next target, Mr. Wilson himself. And this is where things go slightly askew for me. We're going to throw the propane cylinder just on the floor behind Mr. Wilson, and then we're going to head to the house for sale and retrieve a second propane cylinder. And while we're doing that, Mr. Wilson manages to blow himself up. Now, luckily enough, nobody else was near him when he did this, so we are still on course for a silent assassin run. So with Mr. Wilson having helped us out somewhat, we're going to continue on with the plan and make our way into the house for sale, retrieve the propane cylinder from the kitchen, and we're now going to make our way to the last house which is currently on our left and is under renovation, and our final target is located in the garden. And again, this is where things will go slightly awry. So we're going to hop over the Wilson's fence into the bushes, and we're going to throw our propane cylinder just over to the bushes beyond. Unfortunately, that propane cylinder has managed to bounce and roll, and it is well out of range of our target. I don't know this just yet, so I'm going to make my way up the drain pipe. We're going to climb in through the window here, and we are going to locate the propane cylinder. Our target has just lost interest. We can't actually see the propane cylinder because of how far it's gone. It is currently in the bushes somewhere down there, about there, and that is way too far away for the explosion to get our target. Now, rather than go down there and try and remove it and relocate it, I decide, right, what we're going to do is we'll go for the third and final propane cylinder located at the creek shed. And as usual, we have to be somewhat careful with this propane cylinder, as it has a tendency to blow itself up. And just as we get to the creek area, if you look at the shed door, the propane cylinder has just blown itself up. So we are left with no choice but to once again return to the house being renovated. And we are now choiceless in the fact that we're going to have to retrieve the other propane cylinder and relocate it slightly better. Luckily enough, it is in the bushes, so we are able to make our way in and collect it, and we need to throw it just about there. So just there at the edge of the bush, and we can now once again make our way up onto the first floor and into the bedroom window. And all we have to do now is wait for our target to lose interest in the distracting noise, go back to his usual routine, which he is now doing, and as part of his routine, he will go and stand relatively close to that cylinder, and all we have to do is detonate it. He was only just in range there. So all of our targets have been eliminated. We're going to wait right where we are for all of the panic to calm down, as the area will be swarming with guards and enforcers. And then once everybody goes back to their usual routine, we can hop down off of the lean-to and off to the nearest exit, which in this case for me is the bus stop exit. So there we go, one more trending contract taken care of, and we have confirmation all of our targets have been eliminated according to plan. We had no objectives to worry about, and we gain a silent assassin rating. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.